Hello everyone and welcome back to Invincible Guarding the Globe, and today I will be answering the question of, is Thragg overpowered? So if you do enjoy today's video, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you for all of the support on the previous videos. Feel free to check those out as well, and welcome to all of the new subscribers. And yeah, today we're going to be looking at Thragg and seeing if he is actually too powerful for the game, and yeah, doing a deep dive and giving you the analysis on him. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So obviously here he is, Thragg himself. Now he's obviously probably the most hyped, or one of the most hyped heroes in the game, and from what I've seen, everyone has been trying to level him up as soon as possible, and yeah, there's good reason for that. He's from the Worlds Beyond faction. His attack speed is fast. He's obviously a melee combat style. His tags include Viltrumites, obviously, leader, invaders, flying, and melee. So yeah, he's an attacker, and he does look very powerful. So let's have a look at his skills first of all. So his main skill at level 1, leave no one alive. This is a strong ability, and we'll have a look at it now. So Thragg charges a devastating punch, generating a pulse that pulls all enemies and allies towards him. He then unleashes that punch, pushing them away while dealing 350% of his attack as damage to all enemies, and this has a cooldown of 23 seconds. So this is very powerful because he pulls in all enemies and allies. He obviously then deals the damage to the enemies, not to your allies, but he then pushes away all of your allies and the enemies and deals a huge amount of damage to them. Now if we have a look at this upgraded to level 10, it's increased to 400% of his attack as damage, and it also gives them a reduction of their attack by 40% for 10 seconds to the enemies, which again is a nice boost and very strong there. If we then have a look at level 11 to 15, at level 15, he then deals 450% of his attack as damage, reducing their attack by 50% and silences them for 10 seconds. The cooldown is still the same at 23 seconds from level 1 to 15. However, these extra increases are insanely powerful. So not only is the damage a lot, 450% is a lot of damage, to 50% attack reduction is very is a lot. 50% is a lot to the enemy, so they will basically be doing only half damage for 10 seconds, and silencing them for 10 seconds is insane. I think that is the longest silence in the game. What silencing means is that the enemies can't use their main ability even if the cooldown's ready to go. So for example, obviously Thragg's is leave no one alive, and Nissa's is out of this world. It's basically their first ability. Silencing them means that they cannot use that ability for 10 seconds. Is a long time. So yeah, this is an insanely powerful main ability. The only thing is that the cooldown is 23 seconds and isn't the quickest. I think if it was any quicker, then it would be easily just said, yep, he's overpowered, that's too crazy. So 23 seconds is all right, but there is ways of getting that time down. So yeah, it's a very powerful main ability there. If we then have a look at his passive, at level 1, he increases his maximum HP by 2% for each Viltrumite present in the battle. So this includes allies and enemies. Now at level 1, 2% is alright, doesn't make a big difference to be honest. But if you have a look at it at level 10, it's then 5% for each Viltrumite. So if you have, for example, a full Viltrumite team, that's 4 extra Viltrumites. And if you do have, for example, the General Thragg, who summons an additional Viltrumite, then that would be 5 extra. So that would be 25% extra HP straight away from your team. And then if the enemy have any Viltrumites as well, which most of them probably will, then that's obviously an extra 5% there as well. So it stacks up quite well, and if you have a full Viltrumite team, definitely increases his HP by a large amount there. If we also have a look at adds, At the start of the battle, if any coalition of planets members are on the enemy team, he applies confusion to 3 random enemies for 3 seconds. So what that means is that 3 enemies, if there's a coalition of planets member on their team, which if we have a look here includes Omni-Man, Invincible OG, Alan the Alien, Space Racer, Battle Beast, and the new Tech Jacket. If the enemy team has one of those heroes, then he will apply confusion on 3 enemies for 3 seconds. Now, confusion basically means that it will confuse the enemy team, three of their members, to attack each other for 3 seconds at the start of the battle, meaning they won't be attacking your team, they'll be attacking each other. So this is very, very good, because the start of the battle is often the most crucial, and 3 enemies is a huge amount. Just for example, there is actually a artifact that does this, which is the Obedience Collar. Now this artifact happens every 21 seconds, and it's only on 1 random enemy. It's again for 3.6 seconds here, and so just to have that available for him to happen at the start of the battle on 3 enemies is insanely powerful. And if it's upgraded to level 15, he increases his max HP by 7% for each Viltrumite, and the confusion is applied to 4 random enemies, so almost the entire enemy team will just be fighting each other for 3 seconds at the start of the battle. So insanely powerful. They're insanely powerful, and very, very strong with the HP boost and the confusion there. So yeah, very, very good with that. If we then have a look at his 3rd ability, Grand Regent's Aura. Bro is aura farming. This again increases exponentially. So at level 1, he increases his dodge stat by 10%, which I believe is actually a new statistic for Thragg. Well, not for Thragg, but applied to the game with Thragg. 10%, which basically means he has a 10% chance of, if there's any attack on him, 10% chance of the attack just completely missing and doing no damage at all. It's not like he absorbs it or something like this. Dodge basically just means that he would actually just miss the attack completely and not take any damage from it, which 10% on its own is pretty good, even at level 1. But if you have a look at this at level 10, it's increased to 20%. So 20% chance that any attack on him just won't do any effect. And additionally at level 10, he gains a 1% attack boost for every 6% of HP he is missing. So if he is taking damage, and if he is becoming lower in health, for every 6% of his HP he's missing, he gains an extra 1% attack boost. So the lower the HP, the more damage he does. Obviously you don't want him to die, but it does mean that if he does take some damage, he can then deal a lot more damage back. Additionally, when he dodges an attack, which obviously in this case gives him a 20% chance of this happening, a Viltrumite strikes the targeted enemy, dealing 90% of Thragg's attack as damage, and this is a cooldown of 5 seconds. So there's a 20% chance of this happening, and then as long as it doesn't happen multiple times within 5 seconds, then if he does dodge, then a Viltrumite will strike the enemy and deal extra damage to them. Now, if we have a look at this at level 15, the dodge percentage goes up to 25% chance. It's still a 1% attack boost, but it's now for every 3% of HP missing, so even less HP needs to be missing for him to get the attack boost. Additionally, the targeted enemy now receives from the Viltrumite 100% of Thragg's attack damage, attack as damage, and reducing their defense by 20% for 3 seconds. Again, 5-second cooldown, but this is just insane. So firstly, he has 25% chance to not take any damage from a hit. He then gets 1% for every 3 HP of missing, which is insanely powerful because he just increases his attack with damage taken. And then the 25% chance dodge, when he does dodge, he'll then strike the enemy for an additional 100% of his attack from another Viltrumite, and reduces their enemy's defense by 20% for 3 seconds. 5-second cooldown again, but that is very low. So he'll basically dodge the ability, deal damage, and reduce their defense, which is just insane. And yeah, very, very strong. So a big difference between level 1 and 15 there. Then his final ability here, Viltrumite Dominance. At level 1, his basic attacks have a 35% chance of unleashing a cone-shaped shockwave in front of him, dealing 25% of his attack as damage to all enemies within the area. And then this ability stays the same. So firstly, that is pretty strong. 35% chance basically means that if there's enemies behind the one he's attacking, he'll deal 25% of his attack's damage to them. At level 10, this is increased to a 70% chance with 75% of his attack. And at level 15, it's a 100% chance with 100% of his attack. So if you get this to level 15, that means that with every single hit, he'll be doing an AoE attack, so that any enemies around the enemy he's attacking or behind them will also be receiving 100% of his attack as damage, and critical hits create a larger cone as well, which means it can hit more enemies. So at level 15, this is also insanely powerful because it means that every single hit will be a AoE hit, basically. So if he's in a group of enemies, or there's enemies behind the one he's attacking, then it means he'll be doing damage to them with every single hit at level 15, which is crazy powerful. So yeah, is he overpowered? I don't know if he's overpowered. He is very good, especially with all of his skills leveled up. Now, I have been playing in Multiverse Arena. Let's see if there's any Thraggs here. No Thraggs here. I have played against a few high-level Thraggs and have managed to beat them. Let's see if we have any show up just now. I don't know if that was because they just didn't have the skills leveled up fully, or if... yeah, here's one, for example. We can have a look at that here. Obviously, in this case, their Thraggs not the highest level, only 1,119 compared to some of their other heroes. This guy has, for example, is 1399 Invincible blue suit. But if we have a look at the Thragg, yeah, he only, to be fair, he has his skills at level 11, 8, 5, and 15. So not fully maxed, but he does have a level 15 ability there. So yeah, we can play this out and see how it goes. But yeah, Thragg is very strong. He just maybe isn't overpowered, but he is very good. So we'll see how we do against him now. Obviously, his ability for the confusion applies to Coalition of Planets members, and my Omniban here is a Coalition of Planets, so I'm actually going to swap him out for Shapesmith, and that means we won't actually receive the confusion debuff at the start of the battle, which is great, and obviously then sort of negates that from Thragg. So yeah, let's see. I mean, obviously I do have a higher power level here, but even still, you know, if Thragg was overpowered, he probably would be able to defeat us. Now, in saying this, I hope we don't actually end up losing this, but we'll see how we do. My Shapesmith there doing some work, and yeah, managing to take them out. And let's see, yeah, Thragg has gone down, and we've managed to defeat them. So obviously they were a lower power level, and we didn't have a Coalition of Planets member because I took him out. But he isn't like game breaking, but with his skills powered up, he definitely is insanely powerful, and definitely worth upgrading and investing in, and will work especially well with Viltrumite teams. So yeah, I would definitely recommend having him on your team if you can do. We'll just do a little bit of gameplay here with him as well, just so you can kind of see him in action. We'll just do a Thragg versus the Reanimen, see how he gets on. Now there's no Viltrumite allies or Coalition enemies, but yeah, Thragg is very strong, and as you can see here, he's obviously dodging. And you can see that the Viltrumite came in there to strike the enemy. He also then has a slap as part of his normal attacks, which actually pushes the enemy back, which isn't included in his abilities. And if you run him with a Nissa, that triggers her ability where she will then dash through them and deal a huge amount of damage. So especially Thragg works well with a Nissa. But yeah, I would say Thragg isn't overpowered. He's just insanely strong and is at least top one of the best heroes in the game, if not the best, but he's not overpowered But yeah, hopefully this video helped you. If you did enjoy it, then leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for all the support on the previous videos, and yeah, cheers and see you in the next one.